Oh, Google moderator just hit BG. Ollie.
Hello. And I'm Polydub, and joining me in the is Inquisitor 8.1 quiz. How the hell are you? I'm doing just fine. I'm a little tired. I just got home from a 12-hour shift, but I'm here and I'm doing loud and proud. And also joining us. uh, oh, uh, and also rounding out our triumvirate of awesome is Jack from Bad Comic Reviews. Jack, how the hell are you?
I'm doing okay. How are both of you? Because I can hear Polly, but nobody else
Oh
seems to
yeah,
be
we
able
can hear
to.
Polly just fine. Polly, you may want to check your OBS and make sure that your mic is set to your actual microphone and not default, because that happened to me on Minions of the Zoo on Monday.
Hello. There we
Another thing
go.
that really
It
pissed me
was
off.
set to default.
There you go.
Fucking
Mhm.
hell.
I love these new changes. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, OBS. I love you so much.
We suck so bad.
Don't worry, don't worry. My back hurts so much. I was at 12 hours at work. Now I've got to carry this stream. Oh my god.
And you know what else I realized? I opened this show in a very formulaic way that Quiz was able to do it almost word for fucking word. Oh god, chat, you have no idea the technical problems that were going on behind the scenes. We've been back here for like an hour and a quarter trying to get this stream up and running, and YouTube's fighting me, OBS is fighting me, and then I go live and fuck, apparently my mic is set to default instead of my Blue Yeti, and son of a bitch. I
Well, they seem to do this to you a lot. As soon as you get in the routine of like how it works, they change it right away.
that was just the fucking best opening ever. Like, meaning complete disaster. You know how it is.
Yes.
It happens.
Well, what the hell? So since quiz has already gone around and then done the thing. Oh, what's that? Is my internet connectivity dropping down to 200 kilobytes a second? Why, yes, it is, because we just started streaming and that's life. Okay, so I said that I wanted to talk about something before we went live. And I fuck off, yeah. Apple, with your never-ending updates. No one likes you.
Oh, Apple's garbage.
Yeah.
Fuck. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about was credibility in roles. Actors' credibility in given roles, that is.
Okay.
Now we were talking, like, it was either last week or the week before, I don't remember, I drank, about how hot Lena Headey is.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we mentioned that she plays Sarah Connor in the Sarah Connor Chronicles, a show I never watched, just saw like 2 minutes of here and there, right? But I do have a complete copy of it from perfectly legitimate sources. Right.
Of course.
So I go and watch it, the first 2 episodes. And here's what I came away thinking. Holy shit, is Lena Headey like a brilliant casting for the role of Sarah Connor. Like, you have to pick a woman that you can see as being like an actress who's credible in the role of somebody who goes from being happy-go-lucky waitress in the 80s to warrior woman guerrilla fighter, right? And what's her name did so very effectively in like Terminator 2 when she's all ripped and shit. She looked like sexy in that warrior woman way. Am I right?
Sure.
What's her name? The woman that took half of James Cameron's stuff. Linda Hamilton. Yeah.
Yeah, Linda Hamilton.
I mean, you ever wonder why she's not working right now? It's not just her alcoholism. It's also the fact that she took half of James Cameron's stuff when she divorced him. Now.
And she's old.
And
yes.
Oh yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Let's also not forget also that Linda Hamilton is very, very old, very, very old. You can't. Can you imagine someone like that in a more modern movie? Oh wait, you can, and it was a massive pile of garbage. So
Yeah, movie.
Which we predicted. Now, admittedly, that wasn't exactly crystal ball gazing or anything. But if you go back and watch our, remember when we did the review of the trailer? Well,
yes,
Yeah.
I did. See, okay, I watched AP's synopsis
mhm.
of it, and all I gotta say is I was shocked with how on the money we were about it because I didn't go see that movie. Are you fucking kidding me? No, I'm not gonna go and see that. I'm not gonna pay money for that. But I was shocked to find out that we were 100% spot on with things like John Connor is going to die, and then the
Consuelo the maid.
yeah, Consuelo the maid is going to be the new hero.
Tristan O'Leary asked, "What do you think
Is
of
it-
Netflix's Marvel series? Which one?"
Which one?
I heard there's a rumor going around they might do a new season of Daredevil.
Oh, okay. I mean, Daredevil's the one that I've heard. I mean, I've seen the pilot of Daredevil and I liked it, but then I never got around to watching the rest of it. I'm like really spotty when it comes to my nerd viewing. Cool.
Apparently, yeah, the Daredevils were pretty good. Luke Cage was good. I thought Alias was crap, and it was
Ever-
way too many episodes.
Everyone says that Punisher was.
It was okay. It just wasn't a comic book Punisher. If you're not familiar with who Frank Castle is or have read the comics, that's fine. You'll enjoy it. But if you are a big Frank Castle fan, you're probably not. It had its moments, but like everything else, it should have been two separate storylines each season. Each storyline, like 4 episodes, then it would have been
Hmm.
fine. But they drag it out, and that's the main failing of about half of those series.
Well, it's because they want to keep going back to the well.
Right. Well, here's hey Gamer of Lane, what's going on? Okay, so credibility in the role, Lena Headey, and it's not just that I find her hot as hell. It's more than that.
Find her hot as hell, but still can't remember her name.
I'm sorry. It sounds like there should be an L in there. What do you want from me?
Hey man, chat was the one that crucified you last time. For
Whatever. I've been calling her Lena Headey for years. It's not changing anytime soon. I just
it.
Yeah, because I'd like Lena to give me some Headley.
right.
Yeah.
It just sounds
No,
like there
is that
should be
allowed?
an L in there. Trust me, if I met her, I wouldn't be able to remember my own name, much less hers. Anyway.
Yeah, because she's pretty hot. I bet she could beat us up.
Yeah,
too.
that woman, she don't skip gym day, yo. And that's one of the
Yeah.
things that's very credible about her. Now, I'm watching the pilot episode, right? And I'm like, okay, so everything's going along, and then all of a sudden, the character playing, the John Connor, the actor playing John Connor, is at high school, and he runs into this 30-year-old woman, and I'm thinking, oh,
Yeah.
it's a teacher. Oh no, it's another student in the class, and I'm like, okay, whatever. And all of
He goes to school at Melrose, okay?
well, and it turns out that she's the Terminator, and this is the Summer Gao everyone's been talking about, right? And I get to see the moment of moments, like the best possible way to introduce Summer Gao as not credible at all in the role of a protective Terminator. When it rolls by, runs over a fucking Terminator with a big fucking truck, slides open the door, and says the famous line, "If you want to like live and stuff, come with me now." And I'm like,
Okay,
this is she like weighs like 90 pounds. She's like this tiny little weakling. And I get the idea. It's supposed to be, oh well, she's like such a small little weakling. Sorry, I don't apologies to anybody who like thinks Summer Gao's attractive. I'm not talking about her being attractive. Like, I think Laura Harrier is hot as hell. I don't want to see Laura Harrier in the role of a fucking Terminator either. She's simply not credible in the role. And I watched the second episode, and I'm like, this is even worse. This is even worse. And they're constantly teasing you with nudity. What a ripoff.
Yeah.
I-
Well, she had full sidle in Firefly.
Well, really.
Oh yes.
Well,
Also, Polly, I it needs to be said. It needs to be said. I love your relationship with the letter L
what do you mean?
because you add the L to Lena Headley,
Headey.
Headey, and you take it away from Summer Glau.
She's not worthy of the L.
Whatever, man. I just
To be fair, I added the L in Headley as well.
And so did Quiz when
I
he said
don't even
it.
know who Summer Glau's name
I
is.
did, yeah. You two are a bad influence.
Yeah.
I learned it from watching you, all right?
Damn right you did.
And so you get Alpha Omega and Assassin of the Grey saying Summer Glau was not 30 at the time. You're right. She was 28.
She just
looked 30. I mean, I'm sorry, man. I legitimately thought that was supposed to be a teacher. And then she sits down beside him, and I'm like, oh, man. And how is it that I get judged where it's like, oh, come on, she doesn't look like she's 30. But yet when I said the aforementioned Laura Harrier looked hot as hell in Spider-Man Homecoming, everyone's like, she's a high school student. And I'm like, the fuck? She was 27 when they filmed that. What are you talking about? She didn't look like a high school student at all. In fact, none of them did. That's a consistent Hollywood failing at casting people that are in their late 20s, early 30s as being 16. Anyway.
I mean, okay. To be fair, as fair as possible to Summer Glau here, Polly, there's a marked difference between someone like her playing a teenager versus someone like literally the entire cast of any B movie from the 70s or 80s. What are all of these 40-year-olds playing teenagers for?
They're undercover perverts.
Oh.
They're escapees from Epstein Island.
I mean, just go and watch all of the Red Letter Media videos where they sit there and say, why is that 40-year-old in high school?
You're describing the entirety of 90210 and Melrose Place.
Yeah. Great, now you said it. Now the theme is going to be in my head again.
You're welcome.
Shit.
What?
90210.
All right.
Moving on.
Like I said, I am one of those guys that is right on board for that idea of hey, you might not like this movie, but at least it had sexy actress so and so. Like it's like when I'm talking about The Town and people say, oh, I didn't really like that movie very much. And it's like, well, okay, you've got terrible taste, but at least you get to look at Rebecca Hall for slightly over 2 hours because that's one of the most gorgeous women to ever live. You know, so that's a bonus, right? So like, I'm all for staring at beautiful women that are actresses and appreciating their beauty and so forth. But there's also credibility in the role, and it drives me fucking nuts. Haven't you guys, like Jack Quiz, haven't you guys seen enough of the girl who clearly looks like she sits in a makeup chair for 3 hours a fucking day and can't turn around without tossing her hair as if it's in a fan in the wind? And yeah, looking at you, Summer Glau. Well, go back and watch Summer Glau turn around at any point in fucking Terminator, Sarah Connor Chronicles. Every time she turns around, she lits her hair just so, and it's like, oh, God, lady, you're not. This isn't a giant fan, and you're not on a fucking catwalk. What are you doing? Where's the director? Saying Terminators don't fucking walk with a fucking putting music in their hips. What the fuck's going on?
That's for the people jerking off to the show.
Obviously, your Terminators don't. I say mine do.
What the Terminator really needs?
I want to see Arnold pop and walk.
Great.
What the Terminators needed was a little bit of sachet down the catwalk.
Thank you, Gamer Valine, for the donation.
Yeah.
And if you'll notice, the proper donations are turned on today because Jack reminded me. Hetty is pronounced Hetty. Well, thank you, Gamer Valine. We appreciate that. Right. Hetty is pronounced Hetty. Yeah.
That's not going to stop us from saying it wrong.
I mean, I'll pronounce it any way I want. Thank you very much.
I think that's supposed to be Hedy. Looks like.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me just. That is what she wrote. Okay, well, hold on. Gamer of the Lane wrote Hetty is pronounced Heedy. Excuse me. So it's actually Heedy. All right, whatever.
So now it'll be Heedley.
Okay, whatever. I think of her as Princess Gorgo, so whatever. It's in my opinion, she should be wearing a backless toga at all times. That's just my opinion. Referencing,
That's fair.
Okay, and speaking of Gamer of Elaine, since she fired about it, we're going to start with this little story. There isn't much to say, and it's not really surprising for anybody who was paying attention. I was going to turn on the screen share for these gentlemen so they can see what the fuck I'm looking at. There it is. And over here for everybody else, Keanu Reeves says he didn't know The Matrix was a transgender allegory, but thinks it's, quote, cool.
What?
Queen Gorgo. You're right, not Princess Gorgo. She was, in fact, the Queen of Sparta.
How? Okay, number one, how is it a transgender allegory?
Because the Wachowskis both transitioned, so now they retcon much in the path of J.K. Rowling for everyone's gay in her story. Like everything's transgender now. That you didn't hear about this, that the Wachowskis have like retconned now claimed that the entire point of the Matrix all along was to be a profound transgender allegory. You didn't hear this?
No, I didn't. Dude. And another thing is, I mean, that's definitely Keanu Reeves's MO.
Oh, this guy just that was the smart move on his part. He won the game, which is how do you admit the truth and not light yourself on fire at the same time in the era of woke? You say, I had no idea, but it's cool.
No, you do it. This is Keanu Reeves. You do it exactly like this. Really? Oh, dude, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Well, no, it's because it just reminds me of that scene in The Matrix. Oh, I know Kung Fu. No, you don't.
So here are the points of the story, right? Keanu Reeves says he did not know The Matrix was a transgender allegory, but thinks it's cool. The film's director, Lily Wachowski, whatever, has revealed it to fans. Revealed it because it was a secret from 1999 up until now that it was a giant transgender allegory, everyone. They were holding it back until the right moment to let it out. Great. Fucking right. I never spoke to Lily about that. She never conveyed that to me. Dude, it's cool. She never conveyed it to anybody.
Yeah, it wasn't until after. And I guarantee you, Lily is now looking to make a new movie and wants to get ahead of the bandwagon on the marketing. So, yeah, we're going off on about how this really popular movie from 1999 was super woke as fuck. And that's really cool, right?
Well, they're going to do a Matrix 4.
Yeah,
that's
it just
why.
Watch this. This is what it looks like when somebody's dancing to avoid bullets that are being shot at your feet in the form of words. Okay? I never spoke to Lily about that. She never conveyed that to me, Reeves said in an interview with Yahoo Entertainment. I think the Matrix films are profound, and I think that allegory, a lot of people in different versions of the film can speak to that. And for Lily to come out and share that with us, I think it's cool. When asked whether transgender themes would continue in the making of The Matrix 4, Reeves said, get this, I don't know. I think it'll be open to reinterpretation. My man is dancing and dancing well. Good on you. No, seriously, I mean, here's to you. I'm holding up my iced coffee. That's not easy to do what he just did. Because we talked about this before, right? Remember when poor Andrew Garfield was approached and asked about trans boy Spider-Man? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And
POC
Spider-Man. And someone just threw it out at him and said, do you think that a gay Spider-Man would be great? And he went, yeah. And then actually used the word, do you think a trans boy Spider-Man would be a good thing? And he was like, yeah. And then the article read, Andrew Garfield leads call for trans Spider-Man, you know? The poor bastard. It was a rough position to be put in by an entertainment news journalist, entertainment news entertainer. Wow. Like, yeah, they're deep. I mean, those people are just looking, they're the ultimate quote seekers. You know what I mean? And it's not easy to do what Keanu did here, in my opinion. You got to move quick, but not let them catch you on something, and not say anything that'll have the Twitter mob get their pitchforks out. You know?
I'm increasingly now of the opinion, let the Twitter mob get their pitchforks. I don't fucking care. There's nothing they can do to me.
No, this is
Not
like
really.
this is a lot like the House of Un-American Activities. You have to eventually target the wrong person that's super popular, and before it stops. Like the have you no shame sort of situation. Because they didn't filter out the commies, they're not going to filter out all the wrong thinkers. Eventually, this will get annoying to the normies.
Yeah. I think Keanu's like, they're going to make The Matrix 4. Well, very likely they might get a hold of me. I've done a lot of action movies, and I'm really loving this John Wick thing. And we're making another one. Last thing I need is fucking problems right now. For Christ's sake, I'm in my 50s and I'm loving life, living large. I get to do my rock music and my action movies, and I'm loving all the gun training I get to do. You guys have seen the YouTube videos. That guy's having so much fun in life. Last thing he needs is a bunch of angry people on Twitter going, the Keanu Reeves party is over. Hashtag, like, you know. So you just...
They already tried. You already tried it.
You can't.
No, I'm serious. With the cyberpunk thing, they already tried it.
Yeah, you can't cancel Keanu Reeves. He's a national treasure. Everybody seems to like the guy. He's supposed to be super nice. I doubt he's got a fucking skeleton in his closet that's worth talking about.
Have you guys seen the meme picture of him where he's with the two bar girls? I think it was like a signing event or like a...
Oh, yeah, and he's got his arms out, but they're not touching.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Chad, if you haven't seen this picture Keanu Reeves, two hot bar girls. I think they looked like they worked there, or they were part of the event or whatever. Maybe it was for his band or whatever's going on. And he's got his like arms around them. But if you look, his hands are floating a good 6 inches off of each of their waists. Keanu's not stupid, despite how he sounds. Because it's like, oh, Keanu Reeves grabbed my ass. You owe me $10 million. And it's like, no, actually, if you look at the photographic evidence, I never touched you. He was thinking.
Yeah. And Shady brings it up is the fact that he's easygoing self over the preachy Hollywood elite. Yeah, I do hold a lot of respect for Keanu Reeves now. Earlier in his career, when all he could play was surfer guy, that was literally his only intonation. I might have had some hard things to say about him and Much Ado About Nothing. But
with the exception of Point Break, because he was just playing himself, leave it alone.
Yes, Point Break was perfectly fine.
He was great as the surfing FBI guy.
He's an FBI surfer.
That movie sucks so bad.
What? No. That movie is a great movie.
Fucking stupid.
Well,
it's got Lori Petty. It's got Patrick Swayze. It's got Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi. Well, somebody equally as ugly, but no, not anywhere near the acting talent of Steve Buscemi.
It's Gary Busey.
And that was before Gary Busey had become,
drunk
Gary Busey. Yeah, like it's
before motorcycle accident Busey. Yeah, that's what fucked him up real bad.
And BG says Polly's drinking iced coffee. What a hipster. I'm drinking iced coffee because it is hot and humid as hell, and I got to get my caffeine, man. So you go and you judge me any way you want. I've already had 2 full-size energy drinks today. I can't keep doing that. I already got the shakes. Take your judgment over to Quiz here with his weird habits. Anyway, I want to talk about this article that I plan to hold Jack publicly responsible for, because I have no idea what the fuck it's even saying. So he's going to have to explain it, because he's the one who sent it to me.
That doesn't mean I know what the hell it's
A rising mangaka destroys his career in one fell swoop.
Oh. Okay, I can sum this up pretty quickly. Dude is writing a really popular manga. It's Japanese comic
Thanks.
book. You're welcome. He got arrested by Japanese police for allegedly having inappropriate sexual contact with an underage woman between the ages of 10 and 17. And they're on the hook now because he was a writer, not an artist, for this manga that is several volumes in, had just been adapted for for a TV play as well as an anime.
Well, there it is.
A
That was
TV play? You mean a
what the
teleplay?
fuck, Quiz? Why can't you summarize comics that quickly? That was really concise.
Well, I'm gonna probably do that today.
I had no idea you had this skill. All right,
Oh.
whatever. You know, that was. I mean, there it is. But you know what concerns me is this: that she between 10 and 17. That's a fucking hell of a range, yo.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Yeah, it's really scary. If he was banging 17-year-olds, you might be a little more like, all right, it's it's a different culture. They have a lower age of consent, blah blah blah. But you start talking 10-year-olds, no, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no,
I think
no excuses.
I think the age of consent, at least with parental dispensation in Japan, is like 14 or something.
Yeah, but still,
But
I mean,
it's
culturally, there's only so much
yeah,
you're going to look the other way on.
yeah. Well, the fact that they've arrested him
oh, they
says
said
a lot.
arrested him. Yeah. Another scandal in Japan's manga industry is a relatively new manga named Foreign, writing but not drawing a story called Act Age. That's really unfortunate.
I don't think it actually has anything to do with. I think it's just a novel coincidence that.
Oh, I
he's busted
absolutely
for
believe it is. It's
hitting
just
Disney.
like people say God doesn't have a wicked sense of humor. I mean, holy shit.
Yeah, right.
Jesus. Thank you, Evolved Potato, by the way, for posting our various links in chat, Streamlabs, and the like. Greatly appreciated. And hello, Angela.
Mhm.
And hello, Ebony. How you doing? Let's see. Yeah, that is crazy. It's destroys his career.
What is with all the sex pests in comic books?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, the difference between saying this 29-year-old man was going out with, dating, and fucking presumably this 17-year-old is wildly different from this 29-year-old was going out with and presumably fucking this 10-year-old. Those are two incredibly different stories.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, what is with that disturbing age range? All right. Yeah, but you're right. There are a fuck ton of sex pests out there, unfortunately, making it all the much more difficult for those of us who aren't. Jesus. Anyway, let's see. Let's try and find a non-sex pest related. Oh, I know what I want to do because I want to get this one out of the way right away. Because Quiz, you will remain calm.
I will try.
I will mute your ass. You need to remain calm. Okay.
I will try.
DC Comics accused of straight washing Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy's relationship.
We're gay to begin with.
Yes. I had to hear from Chaos Eve how greatly she disagrees with you on this.
And she's wrong because they were never gay to begin with.
You two should really get together live and battle this one out. I would like to listen into that. I wouldn't like to be.
I guarantee you, I can trump her because I've read comics and she has not.
Well, she went and sought out the evidence and presented it to me and said you should go tell him. And I'm like, oh fuck no! Like I'm not playing a messenger between the fighting parents here. This is no. It may be the end of the affair between Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy in the comics. Furthermore,
Wasn't a fair.
the restructuring at Warner Media, i.e., the bloodbath, is getting blamed. Bleeding Cool accuses. Right, there is the key to this story. This accusation is from Bleeding fucking Cool. Where if you've been watching this show for any time, like comic book curation, any length of time, you know that Bleeding Cool is the source of like what? Whoa, like bad takes, progressive politics, grafted onto comics, and everything related.
Pop-up ads.
Ugh.
Pop-up. Don't forget the pop-up ads.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. I got more ads than a failing game review channel or site. Bleeding Cool accuses the changes happening across the board at Warner, which came with the mass layoffs, of altering DC's editorial policy, and the site presents as proof the retrograde of the torrid parts of the Harley Ivy dynamic. Lots of kissing going on here. Harley has been dating Booster Gold in her main eponymous self-named series, and the Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy miniseries turned them into Thelma and Louise, which is how it was in Batman the Animated Series. The miniseries ended with a panel of Ivy giving Harley a peck on the forehead. There we go. Little hug, little peck on the forehead. It was also revealed that Poison Ivy, that had been palling around. Is that how you spell palling, with double L's like that? Palling around with Harley Quinn was just a fragment of the larger whole. Nevertheless, Harley told Ivy, "I love you." Harley and Ivy were presented in February in a single in a Valentine's Day social media post. Below is one of the DC Universe's Twitter accounts, which apparently has been blocked by one of the 17 different things that I'm running. Or if you're in the comic book fan of a Valentine's Day treat this year, this gorgeous piece, the first official statue featuring a same-sex couple, couldn't be a better way to treat yourself. Uh-oh. It's canon in stone there, Quiz. Fuck, look at the size of this text.
Oh, well, let me see.
I don't know.
Where is it?
It's been blocked. I don't know. Look it up. Valentine's Day treat statue. Harley Quinn writer Sam Humphries said clearly that his bosses at DC barred him from commenting on Ivy being taken out of the book and the relationship status. Thank you, Evolve Potato, for the donation. That reminded me. You guys are going to talk about one major blow to manga and anime viewers in the English-speaking world. The total and permanent removal of Kiss manga and Kiss anime. How most people got translated manga and subbed anime. What? Quiz? You're a resident weeb. What's going on there?
Wait, what was that? Sorry, I'm looking for the statue.
Of all potato.
Kiss manga and Kiss anime.
What is that?
Oh, Kiss Manga and Kiss Anime were a website that put up anime and manga to read and watch for free. They were one of the biggest free distributors. The main alternative that people would use instead of going and paying for like Crunchyroll or Funimation or any of that kind of stuff.
Bootlegger.
And it got shut down here recently. I keep on saying that's not a big deal. People who want to watch fan subs to begin with should be going on torrent sites and fan subber ICQ rooms to try to ensure that they're getting first dibs on the raws with the soft subs. So if people are resorting to use Kiss Anime, get good, scrub. This is old ancient weeb talking here, because I never used any of those streaming sites. So, but the fact that it's going away is kind of weird. I think it's kind of funny that after this happens, Crunchyroll and Funimation were all sitting there saying like, hey, you know, the Kiss anime is gone now, you guys can come and subscribe to us, we're only $7.99. Immediately afterwards, several Japanese animation studios launched YouTube accounts and are offering their animes up on full episodes of their anime on YouTube for free. If Funimation dies, like 100% is dissolved as a company and every single person there is fired, I think it'll be a great step forward.
Okay. I'm a little like, I'm not really lost on this because I do understand. Like, Rough City Podcast says lesbians are hot and I want to shout it from the top of a mountain. Well, okay, I disagree. Bisexual women are hot.
Yeah, because bisexual women actually have an opportunity of sleeping with you.
Like, it's just, you know, I hear your point. I understand what you're saying. I just, you know, it's a little bit more clarified for me, or a little bit more particular for me. And it's like, is this not what the whole idea of anybody at any point was saying about Harley and Ivy, that they were bisexual because Harley was very much interested in Mr. J, you know, the whole thing? So it's like she's bisexual, and it's like, and so they're not together anymore. That doesn't mean they weren't ever bisexual, and you end their relationship, so they're straight washing them. Did they disavow
again,
all homosexual activity? I don't think they did. So what's the problem?
this is well, and the thing about it is there's no homosexual activity. Anyway, this is the statue, according to Bleeding Cool, that is totally they're totes gay, by the way, guys. Totes gay. And there's never been an explicit scene where they were like making out or having sex or any of that kind of stuff. It's always heavily implied to the point that it's tongue in cheek and sort of going, hee, look, they're in their underwear, like it was in the Batman animated series. It was never supposed to be gay. In fact, actually, they both have extremely vested interests in being straight. Harley, in every single comic book that is ever shown ever, with Ivy being this quoted, bisexual love interest, is all bullshit because it always ends with Harley going for a guy. And Ivy, on the other hand, has an entire comic book dedicated to the fact that she uses men to get what she wants. That's her whole idea. She's the femme fatale. She was never supposed to be gay.
Okay.
Neither one of these characters.
With that said, and I understand your point. I don't understand your rage, but I understand your point. Is not the real story here then that there really is no straight washing going on? It's just a whole bunch of morons on Twitter, which they're like fucking hell. There's so many of them, spurred on by Bleeding Cool, who has a definite agenda to get rid of everything that's pale, male, and stale, and straight. Right? It's like, so what? They're not in a bisexual relationship anymore. It doesn't, or in a same-sex relationship anymore. It doesn't mean they're not still bisexual, even if you want to see them as that. So isn't the point a giant overreaction and fuck you guys?
No, it's because of the animated show on, was it DC All Access or whatever, that the Harley Quinn cartoon. Okay. Her and Ivy are a thing in there, so they're shipping their fan fiction into becoming canon, is what they're upset about. That you're trying to take that away from them. That's the garbage show with the girl from Big Bang Theory doing the voice of Harley Quinn.
They can all go fuck themselves. I have said many, many times, full of conviction, all fan fiction is bad.
No, it's not about that, though. It's about them getting their way.
Yeah.
It's not about whether this is reality in any situation other than their stupid little cartoon. They've already decided this is acceptable, and they are spoiled little children who always get their way.
That's what I'm saying. Isn't the point here really that, okay, they believe, okay, even if it is erroneous, Quiz, they erroneously believe that this is a same-sex couple, right? And they don't want to have it taken from them because it's canon. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. Iceman is now gay. Wait a minute. That's not canon, though. Hey, what does canon matter? We're trying to get some representation here. It's almost like they argue out of convenience exclusively. They don't give a fuck about canon. And isn't that the point of, like, you guys are overreacting to something that I thought you didn't care about canon? Oh, wait a minute. You do when it suits your needs.
Well, these are spoiled little children that get their way. So anything they want is obviously what is needed here. So their petulance must pay off. That's the rules of the land.
And I need to see here who made this. Oh, of course, it's fucking Rich Johnston. Rich Johnston, go jump off a fucking bridge. You fucking waste of skin. I hate you. I hate you, Rich Johnston.
Many people do.
How do you really feel, Quiz? What are your thoughts on Rich Johnston?
Now, we do have a Warhammer 40K story, but I think we're going to let Quiz's blood pressure go down a little bit before we move on to that one. And we're going to talk about...
don't die on the street.
Well, I certainly boost the ratings. Let's talk about this super short story.
Wait for Sweeps Week.
Okay, hold on. Look at this. The Exorcist reboot is reportedly in the works. Okay, Jack, didn't they already have one of these? Didn't they already reboot The Exorcist?
No, there was The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which was different.
They did the prequel thing. This has been talked about for a long time. They did a prequel to The Exorcist, New Beginnings or something dumb like that.
The Beginning. Exorcist The Beginning.
Yeah, it had like 3 names. It was not that good of them. But this doesn't surprise me. It'll probably be very diverse and friendly to. I don't know. Maybe they're gonna make the devil gay or something. I don't know. It's gonna be fucking dumb.
Remember,
It won't be
The mother sucks
scary.
cocks in hell.
Yeah, they've made 3 remakes of Carrie, so it's not surprising they would want to go after The Exorcist to win that one too.
remember the Exorcist with all the locusts and James Earl Jones in the leopard outfit and everything?
Wait, hold on.
I'm not even making that up. Jack, back me up here.
Yep.
Bazuzu was the name of the demon, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, in Exorcist 2. Okay.
Yeah.
God
Yeah.
damn it.
Yeah, in The Exorcist 2, it has James Earl Jones in a leopard outfit
But you
and
didn't say The
locusts and
Exorcist
yeah,
2.
it was.
You didn't say The Exorcist 2. I'm sitting there thinking, like, you got a little girl strapped down in a bed, and you got James Earl Jones walking in a fucking leopard. I'm like, what the fuck movie did you watch?
No, I said,
The best
do
one,
you remember The Exorcist with? I didn't specify which one.
no, the best Exorcist movie was 3 with George
Yeah,
C.
man.
Scott.
Under fucking rated as hell. Good call.
Yeah, that's a fucking great movie. I love that one. That's my favorite of the
In a
series.
lot of ways, it should kind of be its own standalone film, and then it wouldn't have the weight on it, if you know what I mean. Because George C. Scott, like he doesn't always do a great job, but he really knocked it out of the park there. For those of you who don't know, that's the guy who played Patton in the famous, I read your book, oh man, yeah, that's a good call, Jack. Ruby accused of sexualizing minors. That's like the the breaking headline that just came up, but we're not going to read about that one because whatever. Isn't every Animu now accused of sexualizing a minor? I keep hearing that repeatedly. What the fuck?
I love the fact that they're going after was it Uzeki Chan wants to hang out or something like that is the name of the anime. And they're saying like, oh, look at this woman. She looks like a child. What the fuck? You sick perverts. And she's 20. And
yeah, that's a hate fact.
With huge boobs.
Hate fact.
Everyone brings up the boobs. But yeah, the Morgan Creek, which is a legit studio, is supposedly doing this. So, okay, I guess. I mean, they're remaking Who's the Boss. They'll remake anything.
They're out of good ideas because they have to go back to stuff that's old and remake it so it's politically correct and worse.
All I gotta say, man. Okay, here I found a fairly good representation of Uzeki Chan wants to hang out. How is that pedophilic in any sort of way?
Liz, no one can see what no one can see what you're looking at. You have to tell me when you're going to do these things so I know to show it.
I said I'm screen sharing. I'm screen sharing.
All right.
To be fair, I was ignoring you.
How's that pedophilia? Is what you're asking?
Yeah. Yes. How is that underage?
All right. You got me.
I can't tell how old any of these people are in these cartoons. They all look the same, but they're creepy, boogly eyes and weird mouths that don't work.
Thank you, Jack.
Well, not wrong.
Who said you were, man? I agree, but you got to be careful. Anime is pretty popular, man. It's
I'm just saying.
I know, but
this is what I see constantly on Twitter is people saying that this is like normalizing pedophilia, but yet these are the same people that sit there and say that was it Desmond is perfect or whatever the fuck is his name is awesome and progressive. It's you get one side of the mouth talking out the other side of the mouth's ass. It's fucking stupid.
The other side of the mouth's ass.
I didn't understand that analogy.
I think you mashed your metaphor pretty fucking good there, man.
Well,
hey, look at this.
I didn't get it, but I understand.
I pulled up this article for you, Jack. New Star Trek Voyager series starring 7 of 9 is announced. So now you'll have Katharine Hepburn and 7 of 9, in their geriatric adventures in space.
Please do it, Jack. Come on, do it.
7 of 9. Find cocaine.
Why? Okay, what I don't, I've never understood this. Okay, why, Jack, does your impression of Captain Janeway start with a Bela Lugosi? Blah! Like, what? I don't know. I don't.
It's not a Bela Lugosi. It's an old Katharine Hepburn making weird noises because she's got the dementia and she does a little head shake thing. Meh. If you could see it, it's way more insulting when I do the little visual.
You,
got the palsy shake.
Yeah, I do. I put my hands up and do a little palsy shake, so it looks even more fucked up, and it looks like I'm making fun of really old people.
Chat before, yeah, that's delightful, Jack. Before we went live, these guys are trying to convince me, especially Jack, that the kamikaze pilots crashing into American cruisers in World War II were screaming out "Uwu" as they dove down to smash their Zero planes into.
I showed you photographic
I just didn't disabuse Jack.
You should have distanced yourself, not just disabused it. Because I certainly distanced myself from it, and Jack, being Jack, went and sought out photographic evidence of.
I will show the audience.
No, we believe you. Of an anime girl driving or flying a Zero kamikaze jet. I want you to find a picture of Katharine Hepburn or a video of Katharine Hepburn making the noise, or that joke will no longer persist. It just all you gotta.
Oh, that joke will always persist. It doesn't have to make sense.
Challenge accepted, my friend. Challenge accepted.
Yeah, just find some video of her in her old age, like around on Golden Pond time, when it was on Golden Voyager, and she'll be like, "Man, Chakotay, man, I'm old."
Anyway, IDW Publishing has announced a brand new Star Trek Voyager series starring 7 of 9. The 4-issue miniseries is titled Star Trek Voyager: Seven's Reckoning, and is written by Dave Baker with illustrations by Angel Hernandez and colors by Rhonda Pattison. They got 7 of 9's face right, but more like when Jerry Ryan was 19. Have you seen her in Picard? She ain't looking like this no more. And they kind of screwed up Janeway's face a little bit here, but it's not bad. It's not bad.
Well, she doesn't look enough like Hepburn, but this takes place during the Voyager TV show, I think.
Yeah. Okay. According to the press release from IDW, the series will see the USS Voyager encounter a damaged alien ship deep in the Delta Quadrant. Yeah, there you go. What at first seems to be a simple repair mission becomes much more complicated for 7 of 9 as she becomes ensnared in an alien conflict, one that puts her newfound humanity to the test. Baker has expressed his excitement about getting to write the series, stating, as a lifelong Star Trek fan, having jerked off to 7 of 9 repeatedly, being able to play a small part in advancing the ideals of a better tomorrow means the world to me because fuck Trump. He added, this plays directly into why I wanted to write the book to begin with. To put it simply, the stories we tell one another matter, and the stories we tell ourselves matter most of all, because Black lives matter. Nice. Okay.
Indeed.
Anybody...
Did she actually say Black Lives
Matter? Yeah, I was going to say to anybody listening, I put all kinds of shit in there that wasn't actually in there.
The sad part is you're probably not wrong.
I'm hearing it like in one headphone, the other one I'm listening to Katharine Hepburn, see if I can find a fair instance of her going, meh.
Oh, fuck. I don't know. It's just like I was like I said, I was looking at the analytics and I came to find that gaming devices and PCs and tablets combined don't match the amount of viewership that mobile devices have for this stream and for Noir Bar. I was
for like phones and stuff.
I'm sorry.
For like phone people listening on phones.
People on phones outclass almost twice as much people that are listening on combined every other device kind that they measure. Now, assuming that their numbers are accurate in terms of device consumption, that blew me out of the water. I was like, holy fuck. Because I don't fuck with YouTube on my phone. Not really. Jag and I were talking about this like a week ago or a few days ago. Remember, we only ever use our YouTube app to look up a song, like to listen to a song we kind of want to hear. Other than that, we don't really use YouTube on our smartphones.
I almost never use it.
I'm the exact opposite, guys. I use my phone for YouTube all the time. In fact, actually, I've given up trying to watch YouTube on my PC.
Wow. Weirdo.
That's why I say, man, like a lot of the major thing that YouTube has over every other competitor is the fact that it has a mobile app.
Well,
You kids and your newfangled apps, they don't make no sense to me.
I'll tell you, I'll tell
That's
you and chat a
TOS.
story. I just got my new cheap phone, which I'm really happy about because I was without a phone for a good long time. And Tim Togger says, "Polly, some of us have jobs." Well, you know what? I have employment, but I, unfortunately, it really is unfortunate, don't have employment where I can listen to YouTube and stuff and podcasts and audiobooks. But I did absolutely at one time, and I wish I was into audiobooks at that time. I've heard people say that they're like, "Oh, I'm on the last hour of my shift," or "I got another 6 hours to go," and they're watching live streams or podcasts or whatever. And I'm like, man, that is a really slick way to. Because it's interactive, right? You're listening to something that's conversational. It's not like just listening to music, which can get a little boring after a while. I'm like thinking, fuck, that's a slick way to do it. I'm not complaining at anybody that consumes the material in that way. I just think, what is the point, really, in doing the whole OBS thing if a lot of people aren't even looking at the screen? And most people aren't looking at the screen, actually. And then I started thinking, wait a minute. Maybe people are looking at their screen, and I'm just way the fuck off on this, because I do watch movies on my mobile device. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know TOS was saying earlier that he's on his phone.
Yeah, I saw that.
Nice.
Well,
James Colley said to look up on Golden Pond exchanges between Henry Fonda and Katharine Hepburn.
Is there a lot of going on?
I bet there is. If there's not, they're in my head when I hear it.
And Ebony says there's Spotify, Polly. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying that there isn't. But okay, the thing that came up about the thing that YouTube has over every other platform is that they've got their own app. You said, Quiz? Okay. I got my new phone, and there was no way I was dealing with that YouTube app because fuck ads. I cannot stress that enough because I'm using ad block on my PC, so I don't ever fucking deal with ads. But when I do use the app, I'm like, oh my God. And then I figured out a better way to do it. I went and found a beta version of fucking Firefox, put ad block on it, and then pasted it to the homepage on my phone, the link to the YouTube, to youtube.com through that Firefox beta. So now I have a browser-based one-touch launch of YouTube without ads.
Yeah. So they watching on the mobile browser instead of watching it on the app. Yeah, that's what I do.
But wait a minute, wait.
That sounds like a lot of extra work.
That's what you do. Then why were you just championing how awesome YouTube is for having an app if you don't ever use the app?
I personally don't. But I watch YouTube on my phone all the time.
They were separate thoughts, apparently.
See, Jack, this guy criticizes movies he doesn't watch. He lauds apps he doesn't use. What the hell?
I'm an enigma. I'm a puzzle wrapped in an enigma, Polly.
Oh, fuck. Oh, yeah. This actually links back to a story we were talking about last week. A new rumor claims abysmal Star Trek Lower Decks viewership numbers because everyone's shocked.
Yeah. Oh, dear God. I watched that first episode.
Isn't it so bad?
Wow.
I've seen it too. It's bad, right? Like it's
my roommate likes it.
Oh man, it's time for an intervention with that boy.
I'm not. I'm not gonna watch it because.
Dude, it was even worse than I thought. Like I had seen clips from it. I think I even had seen the first episode, but I was doing something else. So I really didn't pay that close of attention. I guess maybe because it's like that Spider-Man thing where I forget things I've seen, even though I pay money for them sometimes. But holy fuck, that was just painful. I mean, I left them a really mean comment on their YouTube page, but I figured it'd get deleted because they probably curate that shit. But it's got a lot of thumbs up, so I don't get that.
Oh, that's right.
It's a franchise.
Bot lies. BG says if they know your YouTube watch list, they're going to kick your ass to the curb, Polly, since they know you're right of Stalin. You know what? I was thinking about that the other day. You reminded me of something. You know when you like a stream, like I really believe everyone that's liked Sinatra's streams is like being put on a list. Like, not particularly him. I'm not trying to single the guy out. I'm just saying, if you're over at like AP streams and you're hitting the like button, which you should, because it helps out in the algorithm, but it's also putting you on a list of bad creators. There's a reason that good channels grow slowly, but milquetoast makeup channels grow rapidly because they're tending to watch like all of the quote right content. You know what I mean? I actually think that what you like and don't like affects things. Definitely. They track everything else that you do on YouTube. How long you watch, when you leave, what parts you click over. Like, all those analytics are tracked, and a large amount of them are available for you as a YouTube content uploader to view. What makes you think that what you've liked wouldn't be part of what they're doing too? Think about it.
Yeah.
Just saying. We got all the wrong kind of people liking this stream. There must be a problem with this stream then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or rather, the people watching it.
Well, James Colley says, I don't even have home interwebs. I use my phone for interwebs. Well, hey, that's a completely different situation then. I mean, when my internet went down because my ISP sucks, yeah, I went right to my phone. That's a good example of, hey, yeah, you got a point. I'm just saying, like, I'm not trying to say anyone's wrong for doing that. I was simply saying that I was surprised at the overwhelming numbers of people that were watching content by mobile devices. Like I said, it's not like it was like 60%, and the remaining 40% was divvied up amongst everything else. That's crazy. Wow. Anyway, hey, Michael Hatfield, what's going on? Oh yeah, this terrible lower decks. Fuck, that was funny last week when we were talking about it, and I said it's just like it looks like and feels like and plays like and views like Rick and Morty. And then you went and looked it up, and it's like, how many of the writer, how many episodes of Rick and Morty had he written?
I was gonna say the creator, the whatever's nuts, McMahon or whatever. Yeah, he wrote 15 episodes of Rick and Morty.
Star Trek's Lower Decks continues to struggle to find a fan base. It never will find one. A new rumor suggests that Canadian viewership numbers are devastatingly low for the animated spin-off. What was that, the only data that was available, or did it just get leaked from there?
Yeah, they don't have to report their viewership on certain digital platforms, so they've been keeping it real hush-hush. But the Canadians, they have a different law for that, so they have to release so much viewership information.
Interesting. Okay. An alleged source has provided YouTube channel Midnight's Edge with some interesting viewership information. Source from CTV parent company Bell Media, the current Canadian broadcaster of Star Trek Lower Decks. According to their source, the first episode premiered with a total of 404,000 viewers in Canada, a number staggeringly low compared to the 1.8 million viewers who tuned into the premiere of Star Trek Picard only 7 months prior. If those numbers hold true, it would appear that Star Trek's Lower Decks has failed to pull in even half of Star Trek Picard's viewership numbers. I don't think that should surprise anyone. However, like Star Trek Picard, Star Trek Lower Decks appears to be actively bleeding viewers. Midnight's Edge indicates that the series' second episode saw a viewership drop of almost 50%.
I wonder about
to a total of 219,000 total Canadian viewers tuning in. Damn, dude, what was that first up? 404 to 219. Damn. The loss of viewership is limited to a single demographic either, as numbers provided illustrate that Star Trek Lower Decks lost 37% and 56% of their male and female audience, respectively. Jesus. Man, y'all suck.
Those numbers were low to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the series is almost half of its key 18 to 49 demographic. You always hear that demographic, right? 18 to 49, such a crazy range. With 43% of viewers in this group opting to not return for a second episode. And what do they put in? Over at Bounding? If it's frozen. It's frozen. Hello. Hello. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. My computer froze for a second.
Yeah, you're cutting it out a little bit.
Yeah, you're yo-yoing quite a bit there, Paul.
No, I think that was okay, Yo-Yo, and fair enough, but it's actually not my ISP this time. It's just my potato binding up. Sorry about that. I love that they put this picture in at Bounding. The Enterprise bridge blowing up with the Klingons on it from Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock. That's about the size of it. Yeah. So I could have told you. Could have just asked me. Is this show going to be successful? What do you think, Polly? Should we run with this idea of this animated series? No, don't do it. It's a giant waste of fucking money, and it'll already tarnish your already tarnished image. Right? Yeah. Okay. Don't not respond. It's like, oh shit, did I freeze again?
It's weird too because Mike McMahon or Mahanan, whatever, that dude, he worked on Drawn Together and South Park. He's got comedy chops in him.
South Park, okay.
Just can't make a comedy about Star Trek, apparently.
All right, I'm wondering about your guys' opinion on Lego Star Wars Holiday Special coming to Disney Plus in November. Good, bad, stupid? What do you think?
Well, obviously it's bad because they don't have B. Arthur.
Yeah.
Oh,
she was the best thing about the Star Wars.
It's going to be much worse than that. Have you guys heard about this at all?
No, please tell me at least they're like, regardless of wherever it's being shown, it like they'll have ads for Dayton, Ohio. Like the online version of the holiday special.
Oh yeah, I forgot. No, it's this is going to be a hideous mess because the main character is Rey.
Oh, fuck off!
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, and it involves time
here
travel.
It is. The new special takes place directly after the events of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Oh, fuck off. Okay, I didn't. Fuck you. Fuck, go to hell. I thought, fuck off.
Oh no, it's even better than that. I don't know if it says it in this particular article, but it involves not only time travel, but she's going to go back in time, and since she's now a seasoned Jedi Master, she's going to encounter Luke Skywalker and mentor him.
But
yeah.
But Luke was barely in the holiday special.
No, it's not about the holiday special. This is a new holiday special. It's got nothing to do with the original. This is a holiday special where they go back in time and Rey has a wacky adventure. It's not related to the first holiday special.
They're just trying to capitalize off the notoriety of a Star Wars holiday special. And because it's Star Wars Lego, the campiness of the two seem to kind of like complement each other sort of thing. But of course they have to make Rey Jedi Master who blah, blah, blah. Yeah, fuck off. Fuck you guys. That's depressing. Stupid. Oh, well, let's, from stupid Star Wars news, let's go to fun and enjoyable Star Wars news. Massive lightning bolt strikes Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disney's Hollywood studio. Even God hates Disney.
Yeah. Right?
That's such great news. Oh, fuck. What? The whole thing burned down? I don't know. Let's find out what happened. In the video, it looks as if a lightning bolt, it did, on a lightning rod on one of the taller mounts of the Star Wars Galaxy Edge. Holy shit. Look at that freeze frame. Confirmed by Fox 35 is what appeared to have happened. God damn. Walt Disney World News reported today that there were no injuries.
Is anything on fire?
What?
Did it set anything on fire?
Well, I was in the middle of my sentence. When I get to the end of it, and you'll find out. Walt Disney reported that there were no injuries and no damage recorded.
Oh, yeah. Damn.
Well, that's the...
They didn't say when you were talking.
Shit. I wanted damage. Fuck.
Yeah, me too.
Disappointing, man.
I wanted to see like a giant paper mache Millennium Falcon go up in flames. Yeah.
That's what I was hoping burned down. That really detailed Millennium Falcon that they have. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they probably had a team out there with sledgehammers doing more damage to it so they could write it off as a tax loss, like get some insurance money out of it because they've been losing money on that thing for ages now.
I You know what bugs me about Disney? Like when we talk about like failing upwards, right? It's like they're
Mhm.
I guess heads will only roll if their stock crashes. We've talked about that kind of thing before. It's like, how long can you fail to live up to the investment that your corporation made? The billions of dollars of investment to purchase the intellectual property of Star Wars, of all of Lucasfilm. How long can you do it? Like failure after failure after failure. Like you would think Solo would be enough to have heads rolling.
No.
Well, I think after this whole COVID thing, that Disney can no longer afford to just kind of like shrug their shoulders and keep going as they have been, because now, since they are deeply in the red from the parks being closed, they can't be so flippant with their revenue streams.
Yeah, they're just bleeding money.
I guess you know who I blame? The Chinese.
Oh, when you
Them
start,
too.
I was like, uh-oh.
Because
I can't wait for Disney to sell their entire company to
well,
Tencent.
right? Like I blame the Chinese market because it provides this giant cushioning net for bad corporate decisions. Because it's like, oh well, we'll pull money out of the Chinese market. You know what I mean? They're constantly thinking about that and doing that. And it's like if they were reliant upon Western markets or whatever way you want to put it alone, like it would be a different story, don't you think? But as soon as you have access to the Chinese movie market, it's all of a sudden that's when you see 3 and 4 and $700 million films being put out, including their promotions. And it's like, oh yeah, we can go crazy like this and we can go insane like this because we can pull so much money out of the movie market in China. So yeah, the Chinese movie market's to blame for because none of the market corrective forces that would normally be in action are taking place because of that. I mean, take a look at Tencent Productions. There's a reason that they've got their hands in every pie. There's no, the Tencent is like Chinese investment envelope, and they got their hands in fucking everything.
Yep.
Yeah, they're just a branch of the CCP.
I like what Assassin of the Grey just said. That's not the Millennium Falcon. That's a lens flare pigeon.
Not wrong.
Okay. Let's see. Report. Wonder Woman 1984 will feature parallels between Donald Trump and villain Maxwell Lord. The main enemy is capitalism.
Hold on. Let me imagine the shock on that I'm gonna have on that one.
1984, isn't it supposed to be President Donald Reagan or Ronald Reagan?
That won't work. He's not relevant enough to young people.
Let me see if I get this right. Warner, the company that's currently failing and having to like fire employees all over the place, is putting out a film that's a screed on capitalism. Yeah. Yeah, it seems like you guys have a failing understanding of how capitalism works as a corporation. I mean, my God.
I'm wondering if AT&T won't step in and have something to say about that.
Yeah. A new report details that director Patty Jenkins and actress Gal Gadot's upcoming Wonder Woman 1984 film will feature parallels between Donald Trump and villain Maxwell Lord, and that the main villain of the film is actually right, because I'm sure Gal Gadot and the director will be totally willing to give up their personal property and hand it over to somebody who claims that they have less and deserve it. Right. Like Gal Gadot isn't like Hollywood royalty who wants all of the money and mansions at this point. Fuck off.
I still am waiting for my check there, Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
I sent you my PayPal. I'll send it again.
Speaking with Collider on a visit to the film set, Jenkins compared the film's time period to the current day, claiming that the United States is paying the price for the sins of the 80s. Really? It's fight against communist incursions throughout the world? The problem of drug cartels shipping mass amounts of drugs into the United States? The issues of mass unemployment from the economic woes of the 70s? The oil producing states of the Middle East forming a fucking giant energy cartel fucking over the US economy? Are those the sins of the 80s you're talking about, Jenkins? No, they're not, are they? They're a bunch of Reagan problems.
Oh,
I'll say Iran-Contra is everyone's problem,
right.
Polly.
Yeah.
no, that unvarnished capitalism where people didn't mind making money, that was the problem of the 80s.
Right, the total turnaround of the U.S. economy from the doldrums of the 70s. Oh, those sinful times.
Those fucking monsters.
Yeah, from going from 25% interest rates on mortgages, bringing them down to sane, affordable means. Yeah, right. Yeah, those horrible, sinful times. Shut up, bitch. I mean, I don't know that she's a bitch, but you sound like one. Jenkins told Collider it was particularly the 80s because of the fact it was the height of everything we're paying the price for now. Do you care to be specific? She continues. It was like we thought for sure it could go on forever and there was going to be no price and you could just have exponential growth. Then it could keep on going, and all of this excess, again, are you going to get particular or are you just going to keep yak? And so I think in that way we're talking about then, and we're also talking about right now, and we're also talking about my feelings, and we're talking about other things, and we're talking about stuff that doesn't really make any sense, and I don't have to be specific. And since I'm talking to an Access journalist, they're never going to ask me to make any sense because they just need some quotes that they can publish. You work for Collider, right? She actually continues on to say, we're dealing with right now because that struggle is very much alive in our own psyche. What?
Our psyche.
Our national psyche? Is that what you're referring to? What are you even saying?
Hacking our mind, Polly. Our mind.
You doing a Fear is the Mind Killer reference?
I don't even know what that is.
Dune.
Dune?
Yeah, the film. Dune? Fear is the Mind Killer? You never seen Dune?
Yeah, you should have watched Monday. No, I've never seen Dune.
Oh. Well.
On Minions.
It's kind of.
We actually talked about that because, I've never seen Dune.
The film's associate producer, Anna something, would hint at why they chose the year 1984 for the film's title. She notes that it was the peak of America's power and its pride. She continues, it was everything: commercialism, passion, wealth, even violence was in excess. It was a decade of greed and desire. Sure, whatever.
Was it?
I mean,
sounds good.
It was like even violence was in excess. Yeah, there was a lot of violence, but not like as much as there was in the 70s and not as much as there was in the late 60s. And then there was even less violence in the 90s, even less violence in the 2000s, even less violence in the 2010s. As a matter of fact, America's at an all-time domestic low violence rate. But watching corporate news, you would think that it was a fucking bloodbath out there. It's almost like they print these stories to excess and then retards like this make stories about it. What were we saying about psyches? Anyway, whoever this associate producer added, it was humanity at its best and at its worst. All this vague shit. What are you talking about? When asked whether it referred to George Orwell's famous novel, producer Charles Roven responded, "We should have had that conversation after you've seen the film."
What the fuck does that even mean?
Again, Collider's Nick Romano would go on to report that the real enemy of the film is capitalism. He writes, who is the villain of the next chapter? Well, there are multiple antagonists, but the real enemy, might argue, is capitalism. One? You mean you? Were you saying that? You fucking weasel? You little fucking scumbag? You didn't have the fucking spine to say you'd like to think it was capitalism? You motherfucker? You little bitch? You fucking...
Well, it's
One might argue.
To, to be as fair as possible, Polly, to the filmmakers, look who they're talking to. Talking to Collider.
Right.
It's like walking into the Communist Party. Everyone looks at you when you walk in the door, and they all pick up their hammer and sickle and say, "One with the party, brother." And your heart is just thumping, a thumping, a thumping, a thumping, a thumping, a thumping, and you pick up your own hammer and sickle near the door, the one that the previous attendant had just left because they dragged his body outside to add to the bread lines, and you say, "Hell yes, I am, brother."
Now you hold on, Brad
Comrade.
Young. How many domestic bombers were there in the 70s? Didn't an actress go on to join the Weather Underground? You just slow the fuck down. What you're thinking of is Patricia Hearst, I believe, joining the Symbionese Liberation Army. And the Weather Underground were domestic bombers. But they were leftists? They were members of communist cadre, and they were opposed to one Richard M. Nixon. The Weather Underground, the guys that aren't in jail for murder currently, all work at famous universities throughout the United States and are lauded as heroes to the left. You be careful. If you want to be a domestic terrorist, you better be on the left. Just saying. No, but I mean, okay, sarcasm aside, seriously. If you're a domestic terrorist and you're on the right, you're fucked. If you're a domestic terrorist and you're on the left, just make sure you avoid arrest long enough, and then you can go be heralded as a national hero. Quite literally.
Yeah. Write a tell-all book and get honorary doctorates.
Absolutely. Or literal ones, because like Bodine and her husband both work at Northwestern University. She's a heralded scholar of the law, even though she was a domestic terrorist. And they blew up, let's see, they bombed the Capitol building, and they bombed the Pentagon, and they bombed multiple defense contractors, but they were doing it for lefty reasons, so everybody pretends that it doesn't happen. Now, you have Timothy McVeigh, who's an equal level psychopath as those miserable bastards, blow up the Oklahoma City building, and admittedly, he ended up killing a lot more people than they did. But it's like, oh, well, and that stays in the public consciousness. Oh, my God, white nationalist, blah, 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 blah. Even though he actually wasn't a white nationalist, but whatever, we can paint him that way. I mean, domestic terrorism is domestic terrorism. I think far left, far right, you're blowing shit up, you're a fucking terrorist. You shouldn't be teaching at a university.
Yeah. Yeah.
And let's be honest, the only reason that the Weather Underground didn't blow up a police precinct is because both bombs failed to explode and were discovered beforehand. Otherwise, they would be murderers on the level of Timothy McVeigh.
For the really bad.
Yeah, all of their bombs that went off after the fact, like they planned to set off 2 bombs. This is actually an interesting story. 2 of them were set at a precinct and were discovered beforehand and never went off. The other one was at a non-commissioned officers dance at a military base, and that bomb blew up in their brownstone building as they were setting the bomb, and killed them, some of them. And then following that incident, they decided we don't want to murder people anymore. What we're going to do is we're going to call in the bombing ahead of time, and it'll be an act of political showmanship. That we're bombing the building, the structure, the etc. And so they ended up like not killing people in that way, because they would constantly call ahead of their bombings and say, a bomb's about to go off at 12:30, you better get out of the building. And somehow that makes it okay. So yeah, here, go teach at Northwestern Law School, you fucking psycho. Anyway. Gotten off track. Probably my fault.
For comics.
Right. As for the...
no, yeah. This isn't the only time I've heard Polly go off about the Weather Underground. You should hear him in late night Discord chats.
It just drives me crazy the way that the left turns these people superheroes. And it's like, if they were coming from a different political angle, you would call their methods malevolent. You would be denouncing them in every way fucking possible. But it's like, oh, it's fine. They kind of had our politics. It's cool. Jesus Christ. Anyway.
Yeah, no, it's there needs to be unilateral application of the law. Doesn't matter if you're left or right. If a person is bombing
or a
something
fucking
like that,
jihadi. Yeah, like you're all in the same fucking group, man. You're plotting.
Enemies to the
Yeah, I
people.
mean, you fit the definition of a terrorist. You're using violence or the threat of violence to promote political change against civilian targets. Fuck you. You're terrorists. Like, anyway.
Yeah.
Collider's Nick Romano would go on to report that the real enemy, one might argue, because he won't admit that he is the one actually arguing that, because he's a miserable fucking coward. As for villains outside of capitalism, it hasn't been obvious before. They are Maxwell Lord, played by the Mandalorian's Pedro Pascal, and Cheetah, played by Kristen Wiig. Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Romano described Pascal Lord as the king of phony infomercials. If people are chasing after dreams of wealth, power, and fame, then Max is selling those dreams. Associate producer Anna something or other describes his character as a desperate, self-obsessed, fraudulent entrepreneur who runs a business selling the American dream. Really? Does he have an orange tan too? All right. Sorry, Jack, what'd you say?
No, I was just agreeing with Quiz.
Sorry, Quiz, what'd you say?
You're yo-yoing really bad if you didn't hear that.
Yeah, probably. I am.
I said it when you were absolutely quiet. I was saying that Maxwell Lord probably pays Cheetah to kill Wonder Woman, and that's the end all be all of the capitalism thread. He pays for an assassination of a superhero.
As for
capitalism,
as for Barbara Minerva, also known as the Cheetah, Romano explains she is beguiled by this illusion and eventually corrupted by it. I see. So the woman is the victim of the Donald Trump parallel. Interesting. I'm wondering after watching this film, because I'm actually looking forward to it because I like the first Wonder Woman film, right? I'm hoping that Collider is just reading a whole bunch of crap into this, and you don't end up seeing that in there at all,
Well, it's Collider. They're, of course, they have to have this spin on anything that they do. They were a major, proponent against Gamergate back when that was a thing. Collider was one of the major companies that the people that were talking about Gamergate would go after. So that's pretty telling, the fact that they're still up to the same old tricks.
Let's go on to this.
I gave you a perfect segue, Polly.
What? Oh, Gamergate, Brianna Wu. Good call. I didn't missed it. Yeah. I'm feeling vertigo-y. I'm not feeling that well. Let's skip through this article, shall we? Star Trek legend William Shatner fires back against transgender activists while live tweeting his show, The Unexplained. This was so funny. I wouldn't have known this happened. I haven't been on Twitter a lot lately. If Jack and Quiz hadn't been DMing me about it, this is great.
I love it so much.
As Shatner followed along with the August 15th premiere of the episode The Great Imposters, the actor tweeted, Spokane, Washington, 1985. Billy Tipton dies, and paramedics who responded discovered Bill is actually a woman, and she has been living as a man for decades. Billy Tipton was a popular jazz musician active in the early half of the 19th century who was born as a woman, but masqueraded as a man throughout her entire life and career, only to be discovered as a biological woman upon death in 1989. And there's the tweet. A brief summary of Tipton's life and death was soon seized upon by failed congressional candidate and vocal Shatner critic Brianna Wu, who replied, I think this is just a transgender man, William. People have identified this a while back. The condescending SJWs, whatever you want to call them on Twitter, always do that. Jonathan, comma, and then go on to say their thing. Or, at the end, blah, 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 comma, Jonathan. Like, it's like, they want to be like your stern parent scolding you. And they think, I don't think that they do it actively. I think that they sound authoritative maybe when they speak that way. I don't know what it is really, but they do actually all do it. It's interesting. Yeah, and it's always calling them out by their first name. It puts them like, I'm not calling you Mr. or Dr. anything. You're John or William or whatever, right? Or especially if you go by an alias online like Sargon of Akkad. Remember, everybody who was tweeting at him back in the day was Carl, comma, right? And they did it to your boy Zach, in a big way. Richard, comma, Richard. It's like, I know your name, and it's like, well, good for you. So does everyone else, because I've been doxxed like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you want a really quick aside here. I'm not sure if this article gets into it, and it probably doesn't. But do you know who else was a major proponent on Brianna's side in barraging good old Shat here? Mags Visaggio.
Oh, really? Nice.
Oh
Nice
yes.
old school combo there. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Spokane, Washington. She had been living as a man for decades, to which Brianna Wu, failed congressional candidate, failed game maker, failed self-victimizer. What else has she failed at?
To be fair,
life in general.
She did make Revolution 60. It's not a good game, but she did make.
I actually have seen the gameplay of that game. You're right. It's not a good game.
It's pretty terrible, yes.
It is currently unknown whether Tipton self-identified as a transgender individual. Doesn't matter. Retconning correct thinking. Shatner dismissed Wu's response with a sharp retort, asking Wu if she had, don't you have a catapult to set up on the moon to hurl rocks to destroy countries, dear? Oh, wait, does it have Brianna Wu's original tweets? Please tell me it does. It does! Yes! Okay, so for those of you who don't know, you're in for a treat. Brianna Wu, the Wu Goblin herself, actually tweeted this out back in the day. Wired tweeted out, SpaceX has its plan to launch a privately crewed space mission to the moon next year, story forthcoming. To which Brianna Wu, blue checkmark brilliance that she has, tweeted, this is being covered as a fun hijink for rich people, but the idea of a private corporation having access to the moon should give you pause. The moon is probably the most tactically valuable military ground for Earth. Rocks dropped from there have the power of hundreds of nuclear bombs.
It's funny.
It really is. It's still hilarious. I mean, is there a date on this? February 2017, and it's still funny as fuck.
Brianna launched the moon nukes. Woo!
And this, as you guys can see, she did it as like part one, part two, and then part three. And then people started relentlessly making fun of her. And in all of her brilliance, went back and deleted just part two where she said the moon rocks thing. So everyone could see that she still had part one and part three up, and knowing that something was missing.
No. Part two is up. It's still there. You can still.
Are you
look
serious? Because I remember
yeah, you can still.
She must have disabled it for a while, because I remember people posting part one and part three, and part two wasn't there.
Oh, well, I remember seeing that it was actually a thing.
All right. I have not. Well, this is what I said. I want to go back, and I hope that they've put it here, because I wouldn't want to have to go back through her tweets. Can you imagine how many times she tweets a day?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why they just didn't, if it's still up, I don't know why they just didn't direct link it. Whatever. As long as we actually had the tweet up there, that's what counts. But I mean, Jesus Christ, Shatner with the sharp crack. Don't you have a catapult to set up on the moon to hurl rocks? Fucking beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, you don't fuck Shatner. He's badass.
Yeah, I was say he was pretty quick on that uptake too.
I mean,
I say I to her response to him. Did because she actually responded to that call out in particular.
Yes, she did, to say, dear, this is a tired joke and a complete misrepresentation of the facts. I expect this horse shit from 4chan. You're an allegedly adult man, and you should know better. Stop trying to scold the national treasure. You're a ridiculous person.
Yeah, we went to a lot of trouble to steal him from Canada.
I mean, he is like the Shatman himself. Shatner just keeps on winning well into his 80s. Long live Shatner, man. I mean, he's just the best. And I mean, the best she can think of is like transgender man William with the scolding voice, and he comes back with the dear condescending thing, like, you know, and the best she can think to condescend him back is dear, and it's like a misrepresentation of the facts. You know what? Factually, she is correct. She never mentioned a catapult.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Okay, trebuchet, whatever.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. She never mentioned.
She was more thinking of throwing them from the moon. It's different.
Well, I mean, it's not like, let's be honest, Brianna Wu couldn't design a trebuchet, but probably could pull off a catapult because that's in the Weeblo's handbook.
Yeah, of all potatoes, right? It's like Shatner is old and has fuck you money. Yes, he does. Like he's just. But I mean, but okay. Look at Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart is also old and has total fuck off level money, but he's still a hardcore socialist, and it's kind of embarrassing some of the bullshit he comes up with.
Yeah, rich people tend to be more socialist leaning because they already are comfortable. They don't give
Yeah,
a fuck.
Shatner's just
They're also
based.
really
Like that's what's going on with my man. Like he's just.
say when they've got all of that money, they tend to go socialist because they feel guilty. They have all that money and they see people, other people struggling.
Yep.
That's what it is. And you know what? No one else has to suffer for your bad feelings. You need
It's
to go to a
just
therapist and shut the fuck up about your socialism.
no, no, no. See, they're just the little people. They don't matter.
Oh. So if that's the case, then they're the bougies that are first up on the wall.
Yeah, they just don't realize it.
Hmm.
So here's the Brianna Wu, or excuse me, the Mags Visaggio part. I didn't realize that this was part of the article here, but let's check it out. William Shatner, in this back and forth, ends up saying, it looks like they want to find a loophole to justify the use of the term in all cases and refuse to even address how that term is regularly used on social media towards me as a demeaning slur. To which Mag steps in with her blue check brilliance and blue hair and says, I love how we're talking about your feelings about the word cis and not how about you call Billy Tipton a woman. You're the victim here, really.
I love it too. Did I wonder if this article goes into it further? He actually brings up the very famous Magdalene Visaggio one about hitting cis people in the face with a baseball bat. The famous one that your boy Zach brings up all the time.
Well,
Shatner is one of the most awesome people.
well, what he does do respond to her
Mhm.
with is right immediately anyway is I was live tweeting a show, dear, and that's a direct quote from the show. Also, according to the show, Billy never told his 5 wives that he was a woman. Damn. And he said he couldn't have sex because of a childhood accident. So before attacking me, know your facts, troll. Oh. And she responds, okay, dude, your books with Chris Kresge made me think you're a little bit more open to having respectful discussion about why people are upset. I am very sad to see otherwise. I hope you are otherwise well today. And wow, I guess she has an agenda. I'm sure she meant the word cuss in the kindest way possible, though. So
I think he mistyped
yeah.
cis, but yeah.
I'm sure you meant the word cis in the kindest way possible, though I roll. So fuck off, cis assholes. Fuck your bullshit. Get ready for a baseball bat to the teeth.
Famous Magdalene Visaggio. You know what? I want that to be etched on your motherfucking tombstone, Magdalene.
So much love, so much respect for others, so much.
But I mean, right. But it's like, I hear you. But I mean, as a point that we've made like multiple times through this whole thing, it becomes frustratingly annoying to point out the double standard, right? There is no point to having a standard based argument or a principle based argument with people because Mags would respond, I am a victim of transphobia constantly, and my justified anger is because of systemic oppression coming against me. And then when I said cis assholes, I didn't mean everybody. And if you were more educated, you would know that. And if you understood my lived experience, you could see, because I could just spit these things out randomly because I've heard them so many fucking times before. I can say whatever the fuck I want because victim card. Now you are expected to abide or we will cancel.
I'm waiting for the day when Joe Normie wakes up to the idea that when these people start doing that, they actually start hearing what everyone else has been hearing for almost a decade at this point, which is
Well, Number Nowhere says Shatner's an American, Picard is a limey. Big difference. Well, Shatner's a Canadian.
yeah, Shatner's Canadian.
And Patrick Stewart, yeah, he's definitely a Brit, but both of them have American citizenship. So, not really an excuse. I mean, I hear your point, but like Canada's socialist as fuck. I don't know which one's more socialist, Britain or Canada, but and anyway, it doesn't explain away the bullshit that Sir Patrick comes up with. It's kind of embarrassing, really.
Well, did I say the hard fact that nobody wants to admit to? Patrick Stewart isn't that smart.
No, he's not.
He's a really good actor, but he seems kind of like happy-go-lucky guy, whereas Shatner actually seems like a pretty intelligent guy.
Actually, you know what? When you see Patrick Stewart in interviews, he really is I mean, I think a lot of people, including myself, take cues off of his role as Captain Picard or as Macbeth or as King Lear of being a very serious man. When Jack, I think you're right. He laughs a lot. He cracks jokes a lot. He loved Family Guy and couldn't wait to be on the show because it was stupid comedy. Yeah, I think he is just a happy-go-lucky guy. I think that's a fair characterization of what I've seen. It's you can't get wrapped up in the deadly serious roles that he takes. Yeah, you're right. He is a very, very good actor, but like many actors, I don't really know if you should be taking your social cues off of them,
No one should be taking your social cues off of actors. They are paid to play people that are more interesting than they are.
Yeah, they're professional liars.
Matt Winter says Shatner renounced his Canadian citizenship, I thought. I don't know. Maybe he did.
Oh.
Maybe he did. I remember watching the Star Trek documentary where he's talking about how he came to Trek, the captains. And it's like, yeah, when he moved to New York, he was in his early 20s at the time. Like, so it's like a full grown man is what I'm getting at. But yeah, he might have renounced it. I have no idea. You know what? That about brings us to the end of the show. Why don't we move on to some of them comic pitches?
Some of them are comic pitches.
Indeed. Who would like to go first?
I can go first.
Oh,
you
okay.
go first? You go first, Quiz.
You go, Jack.
No, you were already called. You were
right.
before me.
All right. Okay, so my pitch today is written by J.T. Kroll, penciled by Diogenes Neves, and inks by Vincent Cifuentes. My pitch is there. Damn stupid thing for Windows resizing. Brightest Day Green Arrow #1. So this is off of the heels of the big crossover story, Darkest Night. This is the aftermath of Darkest Night, where a lot of characters ended up coming back from the dead. There was one major one was Batman. He'd been killed, I think, by Darkseid. I can't remember. I think it was Darkseid. But he was resurrected by the black power rings from Death's Hand, or Necron was his name. And one of the people that had died and had been resurrected as a Black Lantern was Oliver Queen, Green Arrow. And in the aftermath, after Hal Jordan gets possessed by Parallax, and they finally bring about the end of the Blackest Night, the Brightest Day sees all of the people who were Black Lanterns as being returned to life. And this is the story of what happened when Star City is brought back after Blackest Night into Brightest Day. And you can see here, you've got a whole bunch of, weird, gangs fighting or trying to tackle and rape this woman in a forest of all places, which is kind of odd. And Oliver shows up out of nowhere and starts kicking their ass with his bow and arrow. And later on, you've got this long exposition here where he then comes out and you see that this forest is smack dab right in the center of Star City. So this is like in the aftermath of a cataclysmic citywide destruction where most people have now been left homeless and stuff like that. But the commerce center, perfectly fine. So now Oliver is then tasked with trying to do his typical Robin Hood thing, rob from the rich and give to the poor. And that angers some Russian Soviet business capitalists who are taking over large swaths of business here in Star City and try to contract to have Oliver Queen killed. But Star City is his city, and he defends the people and ensures that everyone is able to live as best they can. I actually thoroughly enjoyed the whole series, but this is the first one I've reread in a while, and this is quintessential Green Arrow and how he is portrayed or should be portrayed, in my opinion. I loved it. Brightest day, Green Arrow #1.
Love the art.
Oh yeah, the art's
Really
fantastic.
good. All right, Jack, would you like to go or shall I?
You go ahead. I'll go last.
All right, that'll be technically.
Oh well, would you prefer I
Make it a
go?
little bit easier for me, yes.
Okay, yeah, sure. All right, I'm going to tell you a tale today about a man named Rondell. He's a wandering hero, and he carries the Devil's Cleaver, the magic item stolen from Satan himself. And Satan put curses on all his items, and so that other people can't steal them, and or other demons can't steal them and try and kill him. So somebody snuck this out of hell, and now Rondell has it. He's a wandering hero. And this little girl right here needs a hero because her best friend was just sacrificed to a dragon, like they've been doing for 20 years now. So, thanks to a man named James Stone Turner, who's a wizard, are able to recruit Rondell. She goes up to get him. The town doesn't want to do shit. This is the wizard here. There's also a talking possum.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to fight a troll. And his friends see this troll here is a pie thief named Gary. And he was stealing so many of Rondell's pies that Rondell chopped his hand off. So Gary went and got his cousin. They have to face off with that before going to the dragon. And Rondell has to talk with them, but not as all is not as it seems. And I had a blast reading this because this was just a weird little morality tale. It's written with this sort of like, you know how like Brer Rabbit and those kind of stories are told with the like accents and hillbillyisms. It's
Sure.
written like that.
Folksy.
So I like the art. Yeah, it's very folksy.
Hillbillyisms.
Yeah. But Rondell has a title, and this issue is called The Lizard of Rusty Creek Cave, but the indicia doesn't indicate that. So if you're looking for this, you can find it for free because it's a free comic book day issue.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I would have paid $4 for this, hands down. It was fucking hilarious. It was a great read. It's a really bizarre tale with bizarre characters and weird idioms. It was a lot of fun. This character is really interesting. He's semi-retired, so he doesn't want to go into town for beans because it takes him longer to do it now because he's all old and stuff. So he agrees to like help this girl for a meal.
Yeah.
I had a great time reading this. I kind of got this on a whim. Like my comic shop, when I asked him to pull some other stuff, he asked if I wanted this. And I said, yeah. So he just pulled all the free comic book day stuff. And I read this on like, nah, I'll just read it. I'm not going to review it. No, I'm absolutely reviewing this. This was fantastic.
Yeah.
This was worth $4. Apparently, there is another story from like 2016 with this character, but I'd never heard of it. The company is Albatross Funny Books, and Funny Books is one word. They apparently also have the license to Tank Girl.
Yeah. Yes, they do. Number one, nowhere said specific art style, very Aesop's, Jack. Yeah, he's referring to Aesop's fables. Yeah. Also, or sorry, Aesop is it fables? No, it's not fables. Can't remember
Yeah, Aesop's Fables.
Is it Fable?
Yeah.
Okay. But the other thing, I absolutely adored the pure pencil work in that.
Right? The
It was
penciling is
so
amazing.
good.
Yeah, it's got a real Freddie Williams III feel to it. But
Yeah.
I've been saying since I reviewed Masters of the Universe versus Injustice, I'd like to see him do straight fantasy stuff. And this
Yeah.
has that same style of art. And I think it really worked well for this. It gave it
What-
kind of a surrealness. The dragon looked really cool. You really put the time in. So I'm not. It's not a typical art style I would like, but it works well for this type of story. So I
Yeah.
really had a great time reading it, and I'm keeping this one. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I was really excited to tell you guys about it because I just read it before the show, so I had to hurry up and get images around and everything. Um,
As I absolutely loved it so much. It reminds me a lot of Mike Grell and his pencil work.
yeah, yeah. Mike Grell's a fucking legend.
Yeah.
So, look, this is good work, and I don't know who Eric Powell is, but I will definitely check out more of his work. And these characters, it was like hillbilly folk tales, a talking possum, a dragon, ogres, trolls, that sort of thing, a wizard that looked kind of like Uncle Remus for some reason. I liked every character. They were all interesting. There's a cool twist at the end that really explains everything. It was a lot of fun. So definitely check it out. If you guys are at the comic shop, it's a free comic book day book. So, but like I said, if you can't find it on with the free stuff because it should still be out, uh, pick it up for a couple bucks. I definitely think it's worth it. I would definitely have paid $4 to $5 for this and not felt bad.
Cool. All right. Okay, my pitch. Fuck, I feel awful. I got a Vertigo session coming on, so I wish I was feeling better to pitch this comic more excitedly because I just recently. I mean, I've read it before, but it. Uh,
Mm.
there we go. My pitch is Fantastic Four Annual #2 from 1964. I think this might be the oldest comic I've ever pitched. This comic is legendary because it tells the origin story of Doctor Doom. And I mean, can you get any better than written by Stan Lee, drawn by Jack Kirby? My God, my God. It 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 is the epic origin story of Victor Von Doom turning into Doctor Doom. It's so great. It has everything you want in an early Marvel comic. I mean, everything. Like Stan Lee, Jack Kirby. So win right off the bat, right? Doctor Doom, my personal favorite villain. Just fucking great. It's just got the exact right amount of campiness to it. You know what I mean? It you
Yeah.
know, you got young Victor Von Doom here as an Eastern European vagrant. He's one of the gypsies, and ends up they put their money together, and he's secreted off to the United States, where he ends up going to Empire University, and here he is at Empire University meeting Reed Richards, the future Mr. Fantastic. And that's his big competition, and Victor Von Doom is mixing science with magic and trying to create technologies heretofore unseen for superpowers and such and the like. And you get Reed Richards coming by and says, "I wonder how Happy Boy is making out. Hello, anybody home? Wow, he's been experimenting with matter transmutation and dimension warps. This is some pretty far out stuff." And he's like, "Get out of here, blah 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 blah." And he's like, "Listen there, fella, you'd better double check some of those equations. You're off on a few decimal places, and that could mean..." And he's, "Get the hell out. What do you know?" And so of course he goes on with the experiment, and fucking boom, and he blows up his dorm. And of course, the president comes by and says, "Von Doom, I'm expelling you from the school before you can cause greater harm to yourself or others." And say,
Von Doom!
Right? I love this so much. It's like, "Bah, there is nothing you can teach me anyway." Like, it's so perfect. And Von Doom, of course, in the classic logic of the era, blames Reed Richards for everything. for disfiguring his face and causing him to be disgraced, but it doesn't matter because he goes back to Eastern Europe where he hangs out with the monks, and they make him his metal suit, and it's just perfect. I highly recommend reading this. I've been feeling mighty low because of some IRL things that are going on, and I wanted to go back to some old school comics, some classic material, and this was just such a huge win. It's such a fun read. It is, and this is only one part of the 2 parts. This is a full 72-page annual special. And goes into the second story. Oh, you get all these pinup pages of Super Skrull, Ramatut, the Molecule Man, Hate Monger, the Infant Terrible, that I actually had to go look the fuck up because I was like, who the hell is that? And then of course the Diablo, and then I was showing you guys this way over sexualized pinup picture of Sue Richards. I mean, my God, where's your shame, Jack Kirby?
Yeah, look at that.
I know,
pussy.
just disgusting.
Showing way too much.
In any case,
Scandalous.
this is available in like digital collections from Marvel Masterworks, from Fantastic Four early collection. It is available in so many different places. But yeah, the big 72-page annual number 2 of Fantastic Four from 1964. Highly recommended. So much fun. That's my pitch for today.
Nice.
It's funny when you were talking about things to pitch, and I said that I had something from Jack Kirby. I was actually thinking about pitching Green Arrow number 1, like the first Green Arrow.
What year is that from?
Jack Kirby. Let me.
I had no idea
got
Jack Kirby drew the first Green Arrow. I did not know that. So what didn't that man have a hand in creating? Fucking hell.
1958.
Damn.
Written by Bill Finger, drawn by Jack Kirby.
Fuck. There's some heavy duty classics right there.
Yep.
Written by Bill Finger? Well, that's 2 pieces of trivia I didn't know. Okay, I'm impressed. Yeah. I want to go check out 1958's Green Arrow. Okay. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Comic Book Curation number 95. Hope you enjoyed it. I am going to go lay down because the room is spinning. Jack, quiz, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I'll drop some links to my new videos. My Roll for Sanity channel is at 960. Trying to get to that 1,000 mark. So if anybody likes board game reviews, check out the video and subscribe if you're.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can't recommend that one enough. I love the shit out of those.
Quiz.
Go to your comic shop if they can let you in without a mask, or with a mask, if whatever. Just make sure you get to your comic shop. Get some free comics. It's Free Comic Book Day, and with what Jack pitched, it's well worth it.
Yeah. There's been some good Free Comic Book Day stuff. There really has, and some shit, but there's some really good ones out there. So yeah, absolutely, go get some free stuff and support your local store. Buy a back issue or something.
Yeah, a back issue or something. Yeah, fair enough. Gulf City Goat says the room spins for glory. I'm gonna go with that, but it sure doesn't feel glorious. Holy shit! All right. Thank you everybody for coming by. Thank you Jack and Quiz for being here. Thank you everybody who donated, and we will see you again next week. Have a good night, everyone.